good, everybody? What is good, yo? So, I am probably one of the more only notable people that I really pay attention that watch this show. There was someone that live reacted to it, but um, I didn't really feel they were being honest and genuine about it because once you see someone's reaction for one thing and then you see their reaction for something else and it seemingly is the same for everything, not my type of content, but I'm not judging anyone who does do it or even enjoys it. But to be like feeling like the only one who's really talking about the show, or there are people out there, but they don't seem to, you know, I don't know how to explain it. They don't seem to enjoy it like I do. I guess you can put it. Um, and with all that being said, for me to be able to get to see this episode and see just how ridiculous the actual overall plot is becoming, like I've seen a lot of shows and they've made me, question certain aspects of characters, and certain things that the author is coming up with and stuff like that, but I've never felt so like punched in the face and punched in the gut watching uh this episode because it I mean, not only did it, show us that not only was he the one going through this pain and stuff, but there was a stage to it that even he didn't know about that kind of brings to light just how serious and kind of how lucky he was overall to not fall victim to all of the stages of the attacks he's getting. Also, he only thought it was laughter that healed it. Come to find out, it's also smiling. And what I mean by they punched you in the gut with this episode and stuff, is they straight up show us doctors doing any type of drug, any type of thing really to put them at ease, to really numb any train of actual thought and put in these thoughts of helping these kids and going out there and smiling as big as possible while knowing these kids are literally, stages away, or not even stages, but a mere moments away from becoming final staged. And in the final stage, we learned that these people aren't even dying. These kids, I can't even say people, like they're full grown adults and stuff. These kids are stuck in a state where they're pretty much incapable of dying because they're pretty much in some type of cardio arrest. And to think that they were going to go that deep into all of this, and to answer the notion to the people who actually know the manga and come to find out that the manga and the anime went about doing the part of him ending up where he is very differently. Um, and I honestly understand why they said this person was so important as well, because holy crap, he's important. Um, but the flip side of all of this is when this important person comes, he almost puts himself in a situation to make himself look bad, or maybe gain the anger of the main character that we're watching because he knows that he would have acted this way. He understands why he's acting this way, and not only does he understand it, he probably expected it. Like he expected no less of him, including after seeing him snap out and like go and fight and stuff. It definitely feels like he had a good idea of just what type of things he was putting into the main character's mind to make him moving and stuff like that. But also, I just want to say, if you aren't subscribed here and you don't believe that I be looking deep into these things, in my review back, I said if they do bring this man back, and to see his arm so like done up the way it was done, I predicted that they could possibly give us some crazy reasoning to why he gets a role like a puppet arm so he can actually be deadly to those the puppeteers. So that was where my mind first went. And what happens this week? My boy gets the other arm, the missing arm, to the puppet that he pretty much, he's been with all this time, and sure he doesn't remember anything because he freaking loses his memory, man. Like this guy is going through it, and it is so rough to watch, but at the same time, it's so good. It's so good. He loses an arm, gets the arm of the puppet, so it's almost like he has a part of them with him this whole time and doesn't even know it, which I think might also be another reason why Guy did that or something, like maybe when he actually gets his memory back, he'll know that the reason why he did that was to help him, but at the same time, he said he was scouting him. So to think he was scouting him this whole time, um, and that uh, he didn't know just what the heck, you know, the whole situation, and in fact of the boy who he's trying to protect and the girl that he wants to also protect. There's no way he didn't know, or it feels like there's no way he shouldn't have known about all of it if he's been scouting. You know what I mean? There's got to be a reason why he was scouting. Holy crap, these guys are weak. And if it comes out to be that he was scouting them because, hey, you're very strong naturally, so let's give you some real power. Let's give you the power of this prosthetic, which he kept he started talking about in the sense of, hey, this arm is not, um, this arm is great. Like this arm is responsive as if I've had it all this time, like as if it is his arm. And that makes sense because it's definitely probably hooked up to some strings and some like crazy stuff just because it has the effects of the whatever, the puppet, why the puppet is so strong and beast work. But not to mention, we also get the reasoning to why this actually works. The reasoning to why a man who loses his arm and somehow ends up, in America from Japan without dying a blood loss in the process is because of some elixir. I'm guessing he gave it to him as soon as he found out that he actually wanted to go forward with using him in whatever he has planned. So now that we know um, the reason why he survived, does it make it any better? It kind of makes, and what I'm guessing happens in the manga with the whole like water situation and him getting flushed out of like the systeming and all that stuff, and people wanting that. I think their reasoning of doing that is to make this Phoenix like antidote, this elixir, that much more powerful probably than it was in the manga. Or maybe there was like special abilities that came with it in the manga besides just healing that we saw this week earlier on. But when you look at it this way, it almost makes it like, oh man, he drank this elixir, and by drinking it, he automatically, like was healing his blood and stuff. But I'm guessing since his arm was left with the kid, and he was probably sent flying in the explosion, besides his arm, weird. um, but I feel like that is their way of saying like this is how powerful of a cure that they pretty much have. It literally brought a guy who should have been dead, who is missing a limb, who fought tooth and nail to protect somebody and thought they themselves were dead, lost their memories during all of this because it was so dramatic, but yet you bring them back and a new wound pops up and that wound is clean and healed faster than anything we've seen, in the series so far. So, uh, it's clear to me that this is going to be either like huge or it's going to help um, us understand why this character can do things to the new villains or the new bad guys that might show up. Like, why can he do any of these types of strong moves to them when he's just a human? And every bad guy in the show continuously beats down the fact that, oh, you are a Mingen and you should not even try to use guns and you shouldn't try to use this. Like they keep putting that out there. So then all of a sudden now you literally have a human with not only this, power to heal, because he's clearly going to put his life on the line for whoever he sees needs the saving, but not only that, he's going to try to do what's right because that's just who he is. And I think Guy might be missing that aspect, seeing how he can flirt with a woman even though a man is just waking up from, the most devastating thing he's probably ever experienced in his life. And this man starts flirting with girls and stuff. So it brings a good line of perspective of just what this guy is really about, and on top of what he's really about, how much his character can be developed with the help of this guy that we love and know is a good guy. So it's like the pairing of the really trash guy that is important, but they put him with the most like open-hearted, great guy. So even the trash character can, at least please some audiences in the sense of, I mean, he's like the Sanji of this team now. Like he just straight up flirted with the nurse he met and said it was, everything he's ever thought it would be and all this other stuff. So it's like clearly he's trying to play the role of the gigolo since there isn't a role like that being played yet. But man, this episode, guys, I was pretty mad seeing the kids and what they were going through with that attack. And then I was also feeling like the main character when he's like, why the heck did you waste it on me, and this and that. But it started to make more and more sense as soon as the people who were attacking shows up and really um, put into perspective like, oh yeah, we saved a bunch of kids with this, and now they literally they know about the dark circus. That's why they even got this disease in the first place. um, and somehow some way they're supposed to now act like as if they can live a normal life, that this also the disease that's attacking them isn't as bad as they think, and they can live with it. um, there's just a lot they're trying to put on these kids, and instead of that, they're like interrogating them and asking them all these questions to, you know, you aren't very helpful now, so to be helpful, you gotta, do something for us pretty much, and that's remember these horrible times that you've been through so we can get information. So really, really dark stuff in this week. Not only dark, but the main character that I love coming back, losing all of his memories, having to use a prosthetic, having a power that he did not, or not power, but having an antidote bestowed upon him when he would never want it and would want the kids to have it. And above all else, we are still in the situation where we can't even put into words what it's going to feel like for him to reunite with people that he was actually protecting in that big accident, and if he will even remember them after a couple things are said or anything like that, or whatever is the case. So with that, everybody, I'm going to end it there. I can't believe this show is as good as it is. It is getting so juicy. um I honestly don't know anyone who is insulting the show necessarily, but at the same time, it's getting hardly any attention, guys. And if this is a show that you guys can see yourselves enjoying, like I did, And if you can hear that in the background, I apologize. It's someone's car alarm going off. But if this is something you guys can enjoy and get into, you definitely won't be disappointed. Um, I've seen things in these shows where I could call it from a mile away, and this is not one of those shows. So if that is something you're looking forward to and you want to see, please pick up this show, and definitely give me a comment or something to know that you either did after my reviews or something, so I can know that it is something you actually started to enjoy after I gave you some advice about it and stuff like that. That would be awesome. But with that, everybody, I will talk to you in the next one, so take care and peace.